the allegations of Jake Barber is. So Ross, the major question, do you think the Pentagon confirming it's investigating the allegations of Jake Barber is a major step forward here?
It's an incremental step forward. I think it's important because we do know that the new director of AARO, the Pentagon's UAP investigation office, a chap called Dr. John Kozlowski, were assured he's very serious about investigating the phenomenon. And he admitted to the Congress under oath late last year that he was indeed now talking to first-hand whistleblowers. So to get this confirmation now from the Pentagon that they are now indeed investigating is positive. But as Dr. John Kozlowski has said to several people, his powers are very limited. The Pentagon dictates what he's allowed to reveal and what he's allowed to say publicly. And there isn't a very proud history, I'm afraid, of the Pentagon wanting to be very forthcoming about what we do believe is a covert UAP retrieval and reverse engineering program. So really, I think a lot depends on the degree of transparency and openness that's permitted by the Pentagon, and a lot of that hangs on the new administration. It really does rest with the president and also to some degree with the Congress whether or not we're going to get any movement on any further disclosure about this alleged covert program.
It's very interesting. I know you say there is very clear intent from senior echelons within the Pentagon leadership to continue to suppress this story. Tell me more about that.
Look, there's been for decades, I believe, a covert program where the United States, I do believe, has hid its recovery, its retrieval of non-human technology. I know a lot of people will roll their eyes and scoff at such a notion, but the evidence is now getting pretty overwhelming that this is real. There have been noises from very senior people in this new administration, including the new DNI, Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, the head of the CIA, John Ratcliffe, and also the head of the FBI, Nash Patel. These people have all indicated their willingness to investigate the UAP issue. What's interesting, though, is that the Pentagon recently came back with an answer to the White House on the drone incursions that you and I have spent a lot of time talking about, and they tried to explain them away as FAA, Federal Aviation Administration, authorized drones, that this was somehow some kind of authorized drone program. That's completely in contradiction to what the FAA said under oath to the Congress in December. So we're getting mixed messages from this new administration. And I'm not confident that we're going to see any degree of transparency. A lot rests, for example, on whether Anna Paulina Luna, the congresswoman who's launched this new transparency committee, is going to be allowed to ask the tough questions in a public hearing, and whether the new president, President Trump, is indeed serious with his promise to get to the bottom of the UAP mystery. So far, I'm a little bit skeptical, but we'll wait and see.
Okay, yeah, wait and see for sure. I want to return to some of your thoughts on some of the government operations that Barber was a part of. Here he is speaking about his work on what he calls the range. Let's listen.
A lot of the work we did was on what I call the range, where the U.S. government and its private partners use to test all kinds of things, weapon systems and resilience to weapon systems of certain craft. And so you see a lot of exciting things.
Ross, in your experience rigorously covering so many UAP-related stories now, how does Barber's account compare to other whistleblower testimonies?
It totally correlates. I mean, Natasha, the reason I'm so sure about Barber telling the truth is because I was referred to Mr. Barber by people inside the legacy program, scientists who are frustrated that they think the public should have a right to know this information, that they say there's no good reason for the continued secrecy. And one of the problems with the military and the intelligence community is often they maintain secrecy for, frankly, no good reason. I do think that we're on the edge of a possible disclosure if this new government decides to be candid. And I think there's really no good reason why the continued secrecy should continue in the way it has. The government does have the opportunity to finally, once and for all, admit that we are not alone, that there is indeed an advanced intelligence of a non-human nature engaging with this planet. But whether the Pentagon wants to admit that or not, there is a certain inevitability, because Jake Barber and his team at Skywatcher are now trying to replicate what they did on the range privately with the backing of private equity.
Thanks for watching. Go to